Hey, welcome to Anime Slushy. This is Phoenix.
And Cube.
Hey, right. So this is a weird one. It's kind of a utility episode, bit of admin, because we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to talk about the things we're thinking of watching for the spring anime 2020 season. I probably got that the wrong way around, but anyway. But before we do that, we're going to make a plea to you, our listeners. Please, if you haven't, please watch Madoka. We'd really like it if you sat down and watched Madoka, because we are going to today lay out all the reasons why it would be worth your time checking out Madoka. Then we're going to do the spring 2020 taster, and then we're going to start going episode by episode through all 12 episodes of Madoka. And it would be really good if you guys watched along with us, so you could listen to us talk about it and why it's very good.
Yeah, because we don't want to do the general thing we do where we describe everything that happens. We will be assuming that you've seen it, and we just want to really dig into like all the little artistic touches and weird references and stuff, and just have a good old time talking about that show that we both like a lot.
Yeah, like it's sort of the basis for at least half this podcast. If you haven't seen it, you've heard us reference it over and over again when talking about all the other stupid magical girl shows. So yeah, you if you want to, you should watch it. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of why, if you're wondering, if you're a fan of magical girl shows in general, I don't know how you wouldn't have seen it at this point. It's been probably the most significant magical girl property in the last decade easily.
Yeah, I would say like since Precure.
Yeah.
Or was Precure after it? But like you have Madoka and Precure, and then other major things since then. I guess Symphogear.
Yeah. Which is sort of on another branch of like, it's more a Nanoha thing than it really seems to be. Like, Madoka has unfortunately branched off a lot of very bad magical girl shows, including all of the other Madoka shows.
Yeah.
The original show itself was a massive phenomenon for a very good reason. It's a very, very good magical girl show. Like, in terms of the plot, I don't think there's a single dud episode in the 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It is an extremely tight show. Every ep, things move along. Every ep, there's a big revelation. You never get bored. And you can admire it just from a structural point of view. You know, how well the story is sort of teased out episode to episode. Like, everything you learn about the world is just sort of dropped out bit by bit, you know?
Yeah.
Every character is different. Like, every character gives you a lot to think about. They all have a nice little journey they sort of go on. Even if it's just you start off thinking that each character is a certain type of person, and as the show goes, you learn that they're actually someone else. Like, particularly in the case of Mami and Kyoko.
Yeah.
They don't have a journey so much as there's a lot more to them than you realize when you first meet them. There are characters who aren't necessarily around for a lot of the show, but they still have a lot of depth and sort of leave you with a lot to think about. It's really fantastic the way it's sort of done.
Yeah, I fucking love all of the characters in Madoka, and I feel like you get a really good sense of what all their worldviews are and why they clash with each other. And even though there aren't that many episodes, you get a lot of different scenes of two of the different characters with different worldviews interacting and kind of clashing philosophically.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of various dynamics, because it's Mommy, she gets along super well with some characters and not at all with other characters, and you kind of understand why fundamentally, and I think it works really well in that way.
Yeah. It's sort of funny that the particular ship that came out of the show, I don't think was intentional, is interesting because like you say, every character gets time together. There's a dynamic between each major character. It's yeah,
except for Kyoko and Mami.
Well, that's true, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah. and then they get more stuff in the different story and whatnot. There's an implied history there.
Yeah. Well, there's at least one significant scene between the two of them where something happens.
Only Madoka kids will remember this.
Now, in terms of the twists, if you know anything about Madoka, you know that there's a twist involved. When I first watched it, I went into it knowing that twist. What I didn't understand was that the show has so many twists.
It's so twisty.
There's so much about that world that is hidden and sort of revealed as it goes on. That every second episode has some major revelation that I think you could sort of classify as a twist in a way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's don't not watch it because you think you know the twist.
Yeah, and even if you do, Madoka is the kind of show that I've only enjoyed more as I rewatch it, because it does so much to foreshadow certain things. And then so when you rewatch it, it's oh, I know why she actually said that. God damn it.
On rewatch, it gives you a lot to sort of recontextualize what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of character actions and stuff that you understand better having seen it a second time, or also little things you pick up on that say a lot about them that you didn't realize was actually saying something. It's all done that way. I think another thing is if you're turned off by the idea of a deconstruction. I mean, this might be unfair, and this might just be the way I think of deconstructions, but to me, deconstruction implies like a sort of necessary breaking down of tired tropes, and I don't really think that's what Madoka is.
I don't know. I don't understand what deconstruction means anymore, or if it ever meant anything super specific.
I think there's an argument for deconstructions when, like, there's a particular genre that has gotten tired, and then you have a property that comes along that kind of breaks up the tropes and reinterprets them in another way.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that's what Madoka is. Madoka really isn't a big fuck you to magical girl shows.
But see, I don't think most deconstructions even are fuck yous to the genres they deconstruct.
You don't think?
Because, like, is Evangelion really a fuck you to giant robots? Because it still clearly loves fucking giant robots.
That's what I was going to say. Gen clearly loves magical girl shows. The ending of Madoka is like a magical girl show theme down to its bones.
Yeah.
In the end, this is still a magical girl show. Like, it's not. It does play on some tropes to kind of enhance the twist. Like, it sets itself up like a regular show and then it turns into something darker, but it's not a big fuck you. I think that's what people tend to think deconstructions are.
Yeah, but yeah,
But then, like all the big sort of deconstruction properties also aren't actually that at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, again, it's whenever anyone talks about something being a deconstruction, it always means something different. Like, a lot of people will call Sleepless Domain a deconstruction, and it's like, obviously, like Madoka, it has some deconstructive elements, but it's still very much, playing with the same toys.
Yeah.
As any magical girl story.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess what I mean when I say don't think of it as a deconstruction is don't think of it as a big, we have to change it for the sake of changing it. See, Evangelion, the fucking rebuild movies, that's a thing where they took it and changed it for the sake of changing it. And it ends up being bad. Like it just ends up being sort of weird and pointless.
That's why they're called rebuild, because Evangelion was a deconstruction and they're deconstructing the deconstruction. It's a double reverse. They're rebuilding it. Now I understand.
That actually is something that Anna said, that he wanted to change the story because he just didn't want to tell the same story again. But it kind of does leave you with the impression he wanted to change the story for the sake of changing the story.
More glasses thoughts.
Anyway.
That's what we need.
Not enough about that. Yeah.
This isn't about Eva.
No, this is about Madoka. The music in Madoka.
Yuki Kajiura, I fucking love you.
The music is so fucking good.
She can carry shows. Like B-Train, fucking .hack and Noir and stuff. She carried those shows a lot of the time.
Oh, it's amazing.
She's so powerful.
It's amazing how much a good soundtrack can enhance a show. Like, even like a mediocre show, it can make things feel epic and gorgeous and stuff. And this is the other thing about the show, that like Shaft are notorious for not finishing stuff on time and then overcorrecting when it comes out on like the DVD. But I think they hit a really sweet spot with the DVD and Blu-ray releases of the show itself. By the time I got to the movies, they'd overcorrected.
Even by the Blu-ray, there's some parts I like a little less. I mean, I do think it's the strongest version overall, the Blu-ray versions, but my ideal cut of Madoka, I think, would take pieces from all three versions, because I just finally watched the movies, and I definitely think they're the weakest version, and I'd put the TV version second. Like, the Blu-rays were already starting to get, like, a little sexier in some ways, like, they were already starting to be a bit more fan-service-y, with, the ending changes, ending theme additions, and some of the transformations are a little sexier, and at that one scene at the end, their space bodies become much more naked looking, and I don't like it.
No, it's yeah.
Oh, and Mommy's room. There's some things that they tweaked, and then by the movies, they were just completely ridiculously over tweaked to a stupid level.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating seeing the three different versions of it.
Yeah. If you are going to watch a version, the DVD or the Blu-rays is probably the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just because the movies are compressions, they cut stuff out.
Oh yeah,
some really good stuff that it's worth watching the shows.
Yeah, having just watched the movies, especially because the first movie covers episodes 1 to I think the end of 7, and it cuts out way more than the second one because it cuts out a lot of the like building exposition stuff. But that stuff's all great.
Yeah, baby alert.
Yeah. Okay. The three of them are in a pile, and this one is being a little shit.
Aww.
Put milk in your face. Yeah, fucking when Madoka and Homura, are together in the space zone. In the show version, they have space bodies, like naked bodies, but covered in a space effect, which I think is the best. In the Blu-rays, they're just like that more naked-looking naked, which I don't like.
Yeah, no.
But in the movies, they gave them these like lacy dress things that were like they're so blatantly added in post, and they look almost like they look like Inukuri, like witch aesthetic almost. They look like decoupage, and it's dumb.
The other thing is the music very nicely complements the action because the action is beautiful.
Yeah.
All of the fighting scenes, they have a lot of different aesthetics they play with. Obviously, the witch aesthetic on its own is already gorgeous, but like the animation itself, they're really, really good magical girl fight scenes. None of that Nanoha fucking dumb lasers fight bullshit.
Look, some of the lasers later are pretty cool in Nanoha, but yeah, Madoka has much more. Like everyone's power is weapons. Like everyone has just a fuck ton of weapons usually, or just like a cool weapon, and so. Like somehow I feel like it has some of my favorite like physical action in any anime I've watched, despite being a magical girl show. And if you look up, there's 2 guys who did most of the action sakuga for the show, and a lot of the other stuff they've worked on is like Fate Zero and Naruto and stuff. So they really got just the right guys to do these really awesome action shots. Because yeah, it would not be the same without them.
No. I think that is something that is relatively unique in a magical girl genre. Action stuff that is really nicely and like lovingly created.
Yeah, like Precure will usually have like a few episodes each season where the animators just really go balls out, and that's always cool. But Madoka is just so consistent about it.
Yeah. The other thing is it is a darker show. It doesn't have a dark ending. It has a bittersweet ending. Don't look at the other dumb shows that followed Madoka and took all the wrong lessons. It's not a sufferfest all the way to the end.
Yeah, I know some people feel like the ending is still a big bummer, but I disagree.
Again, the ending is it's a magical girl show ending. The message that is pushed at the end and the reason one character makes the decision they make is like entirely like a magical girl sort of thing.
Yeah, she gives a whole speech about fucking hope and shit.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It is a bit sad, but that's what bittersweet is.
Yeah.
If this show catches you, it will wrench your heart out, but like in a good way.
Yeah, like I would say the ending of Princess Tutu was way more of a bummer for me than the ending of Madoka. Shout out to the people who've seen that.
Yeah, and like I know we talked about Graham Bell and its stupid version of the ending.
That made you so mad.
It's just so idiotic because it's so obvious. All the shows that followed Madoka, they just took all the wrong lessons.
Yeah.
Or they tried to do it again, but with inferior writers.
Like something that I've really come to appreciate is how much Madoka is just the exact right people all getting together at the right time to make it what it was.
Yeah.
Like, so the witches are all really aesthetically interesting, but what's really funny is that when you look at interviews by Gen Urobuchi, the writer, he just imagined what they were fighting as like kaiju. He didn't have any specific aesthetic in mind for them. So it's really weird to think that like there could have been an alternate version of this show where they don't fight these crazy, decoupage monsters and they just fight more generic looking monsters, and then that wouldn't be the same at all.
No, yeah.
I do like the writing a lot, but like if you didn't have as good of animation and music and directors and stuff, it still could have been a pretty trashy show by the end.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Or it could have been fine. Whereas what you actually got is like a really fucking superb television.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we like Madoka.
I think we like it a lot, yeah. I mean, there are some little caveats.
Oh yeah.
There's at least one element of the universe that it's in that is based on some very sexist reasoning.
Yeah, it does kind of lean into the idea that girls are more emotional than boys. Though they do it in a very like they're at the cusp of hope and despair more than anyone or ever. But the implication is still like that girls are more emotional.
Yeah,
which fucking whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, like I understand like you have to come up with a reason for why magical girls are a thing and not magical boys. But maybe you could have tried a bit harder.
Yeah, it does mostly just feel like an excuse for why it's just magical girls, but the implication is still unfortunate.
Yeah.
The opening has some very questionable animation in it. Not a big fan.
Yeah.
With the weird squish boob transformation, it's dumb.
Yeah, and also just like there's the bit where Madoka's like in like lacy underwear and is all embarrassed.
Where she does inflation and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted to make an opening to be like, this isn't for kids. Get the kids out of the room. But it's not that kind of funny, sexy thing. It's the other kind of thing for adults. Dun, dun, dun. But it's still dumb.
There's like an argument you could make that like this is a piss take of all of the dumb things that happen in Magical Girl like shows up to this point. But I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, I still would have just preferred a classier opening.
Yeah, that would have been fine. We don't need this joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you say is things to be wary of?
Like, in terms of, like, sexualizing the girls, it's so much, like, below the bar of other things that came after it, or even Nanoha or whatnot. But there are a few transformations that have, like, some transformation nudity. And they wear bloomers at gym, which is stupid in this day and age.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, by anime standards, very low. By standards, you know, it's anime.
Yeah. It's so, like, there's a bit there.
yeah, there's that. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, no, I think to get into more of the arguments, counter arguments about the show, you sort of have to see it, which is why we're saying, if you haven't seen it, we cannot recommend it strongly enough that you go watch this show.
Yeah. And then you can get into the discourse with us, and you can see if you disagree with our hot takes. and if you watched it a long time ago, watch it again.
There is definite value in rewatching it. You always notice new things.
Yeah, it's just so weird thinking about how many people work on anime and how it's so easy for not all the right people to get together and make something, but then sometimes they do, and it's like, wow.
And not even like to make a bad thing, just like they made something that was really good, but maybe the music wasn't so great, or maybe this part of the plotting was a bit weird, or maybe, you know, this voice actor kind of sucked. All of the artistic elements of Madoka came together in a really good way.
Yeah.
Even in good shows, it's rare for every single thing to be firing on all cylinders. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's good.
I will say, in terms of artisticness, the way that the faces look sometimes is a bit weird. That is one of the only things that I think they improved for Magia Record, is they learned how to turn these girls' wide moe faces better.
Yeah.
There are some wonky shots, especially early on.
Yeah, the wide faces did throw me at first when I was first watching it, but you get used to it. You get used to it very quickly. But yeah, there are still some... I mean, there's a reason why the whole Become Maguka thread is the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of also, like, smaller frames where the characters are further back, and it doesn't quite look as crash hot in the face.
Yeah, a lot of them end up being funny, but you know what? I'll deal with it for the interesting visuals and stuff.
For everything else, yeah. Go watch it and come talk to us about it.
Yeah.
As we go through bit by bit.
Yeah, because I do want to talk about like the things that I do think are deconstructive and do make it feel different from other dark magical girl shows in their own way and blah, 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 but that's getting real into the weeds, and we got to get into those weeds later.
Yeah, later weeds.
Nom, nom, nom.
All right, second thing. The spring 2020 anime season.
It's upon us.
Yeah, so it's mostly just started. I think we've said before, it's not looking like a strong crop.
Especially after last season, which was, you know, I had 4 shows that I watched all of last season, which was very novel for me.
Yeah, and as we said, 3 of them were good.
Yeah.
One of them was not.
Magia Record. But you know what? Even that was a lot of fun.
4 shows are really good. Which one would we podcast about? The not very good
The
one.
one that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was still interesting and worth watching.
It was.
IMO.
It was. But it's still like... Fuck, you just like I was watching Magia Record and like this is dumb and it's not Madoka. Then I went back and watched Madoka, the original series, and just thinking about Magia Record and going, fuck, that really wasn't Madoka, was it? It really was bordering on parody at times. Like again, this is something else. If you watched Record and you think that like, oh, Madoka looks like this with all the really silly architecture and shit, that only happens a couple of times in Madoka where things get a bit weird, but it's enough that it's not like over the top. It's not like Magia Record where every building is like some fucking Escher drawing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's they ain't the sames.
No, not even a little bit. It's ugh. Stupid show.
But speaking of bad shows, what are you planning to watch this season so far? And you guys need to tell us your suggestions on Twitter.
Well, this is the thing. I haven't quite picked out exactly all the shows I want to watch. What I have done is I've picked out a list of all the new shows that I think sound intriguing, and I'm going to go through them, and maybe you guys can suggest which ones you'd like us to watch, who in particular you'd like it to watch. If you have another show we don't mention, by all means mention that too.
Yeah, I'll tell you the ones that are already on my list to check out.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that one of them is a Brand New Animal.
Well, of course. I got to see these not quite furries.
So, all right, this is the synopsis. An original anime by Studio Trigger. BNA which is already like, you should just watch it probably if it's Trigger. If for nothing else,
Yeah.
just look at the trigger.
Hey guys, it's Trigger.
BNA is set in a 21st century in which the existence of humanoid animals has been revealed to the world after living in darkness for centuries. One day, a high school student named Michiru suddenly turns into a tanuki person. After going to live in Anima City, where she meets Wolf or Ogami Shiro, she goes on to investigate why she became an animal and gets mixed up in the even stranger events in the process.
So she looks like, if you read Kiwi Bliss, she looks like Chandra. She looks like a slightly older Chandra. She's fucking cute, and I gotta see her adventures. And she got a wolf boyfriend. I don't know anything about the plot really, except that there's all these people, they turn into animals. Animation looks nice. I gotta watch it.
Yeah. No, I think if there's like one show that like looks like it has a lot of promise this season, that's probably it.
Yeah, and it's in this weird situation where they released the first 6 episodes and now they started airing it and they're still catching up to the 6 episodes and then they'll start coming out normally, and it's for us it's in Netflix jail for now. So once it all comes out, it will be available officially in America. But until then, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Arr. I think there's not really any question there, but I think we're both going to watch that, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. A few people have asked us about watching Tower of God.
Yeah.
Now, what's this based on again?
So it's based on a South Korean webtoon, the company Webtoons that host a lot of webcomics, and it's like a co-production with Crunchyroll. So it's like a Crunchyroll original anime that I hear is kind of a mixed bag, and it's not like up to the level of like TV anime, but it sounds interesting.
It's the Netflix original movie version of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to see it.
That's it. This is like, also the dream. Webcomic gets made into an anime.
Hey, yeah, I gotta support that. I gotta check it out.
The synopsis is Tower of God centers around a boy called 25th Bam, who has spent most of his life trapped beneath a vast and mysterious tower, with only his close friend Rachel to keep him company. When Rachel enters the tower, Bam manages to open the door into it as well and faces challenges at each floor of the tower as he tries to find his closest companion.
25th Bam and Rachel.
Yeah, I know, Rachel.
That's awesome.
There was some version of Evangelion that had a bad translation where Ray got changed to Rachel.
Amazing.
That was the best. Especially in the midst of like Friends still being a thing. I'm curious to watch it just as, like you say, you want to support this.
Yeah, I want to see what you've been up to, Crunchyroll. Let's see the anime you made. Hey.
And also support a Korean thing too.
Yeah, it's a super international thing, which I like. I that's why I also like Trigger, is they do a lot of interesting like co-productions with other countries and stuff, and I like to see that kind of thing happening.
Yeah. So, something else I have on this list here. Gleipnir? How do you pronounce that?
I have that on my list. I'm going to assume Gleipnir.
Gleipnir.
Assuming that it's supposed to be German.
Right. Here's a synopsis. What does one consider to be a monster? A horrible blood-sucking vampire? Frankenstein's creation? Suichi Kagaya has a secret. Other than having great grades and being skilled in sports, he isn't what one could call normal. In fact, Suichi cannot even be considered human.
What?
Thank you for being the audience. One fateful morning, he woke up as a monster, with brute strength, an abnormally strong sense of smell, big fluffy paws, and the depression and self-hate that comes after losing one's humanity. His life was suddenly flipped upside down. Claire Aoki, the girl he had decided to save, now holds his secret over his head. Claire is a sadistic and utterly twisted girl, with no sense of empathy towards the lives of others.
Oh no.
Before meeting Suichi, she was in the search of monsters, hoping to find her monster sister. Despite becoming a monster, Suichi naively continues to hold on to his human morals. But how long can one last in this insufferable way of living?
Oh.
Okay, so it's a suffer thing, and there's a girl who's a sadist. I think we can all.
Yeah, the official image of it is like him as like this like teddy bear monster with like a sexy girl sitting on top of him, and it looks like some dumbass trash, and I'm gonna watch it. Or at least I'll watch the first episode.
Yeah, okay, you can have that one.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, and I couldn't find any official localizers listed for it, so yar.
This really does feel like the greatest potential for fun trash, or just like trash.
Yeah, we'll see.
Which will be funny also. Yeah, we'll see. Now, pop quiz. Did this show come from a light novel, yes or no? The title is My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, or Hemifura, I Reincarnated into an Otome game as a villainess with only destruction flags.
Now, this is another one like Bookworm where people are like, well, this one's pretty good, actually. I mean, obviously, I don't believe people anymore when they say that.
Maybe you like it, and that's fair enough. But I do think there's a thing where, like, if an isekai, if it's outside of the incredibly generic isekai template, which Bookworm was, and which this one is as well, I think people give it a lot more credit when maybe it doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
So here's a synopsis. 8-year-old Katerina Caius is the only daughter of a duke, living a life peacefully and without incident until she hits her head on a rock, and then remembers that she is not actually the duke's daughter. She used to be an otaku who died on her way to school after spending the previous night playing Fortune Lover, her favorite otome game. After noticing that her current surroundings seem to be oddly familiar, she is shocked to discover that she has been reincarnated into the world of Fortune Lover as the villainess. The villainess in the game usually winds up dead or exiled, so Katerina decides to use her knowledge of the game and its roots to avoid any bad situations. But is it even possible for the villainess to reach a good ending?
See, that does sound like a fun premise.
It does, yeah. Maybe this one is the good one.
Yeah, it's always possible.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think I'll watch this one. I'll watch a couple episodes.
Yeah, you seem to be our go-to isekai boy.
Yeah, I don't know
you gotta
why.
watch whatever the isekai people are talking about is.
Fuck, I did watch Tits Out Mum, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're finding our own little specializations.
I know we always talk about podcasts we're thinking of doing that we don't or haven't gotten to yet, but
Yeah.
I have been thinking about watching Tits Out Mum.
Momsekai.
Mum Sakai. This is the first season of that because it isn't that long and it seems like it would be good content, let's say that.
Maybe.
All right, let's bend in a different direction.
Okay.
This is a show called Sing Yesterday for Me. Very short description. After college, Riko Uzomi, a boy without much ambition in life, takes on a job at a convenience store. The days pass by uneventfully for Riko until he meets his former girlfriend and classmate, but especially thanks to the unusual Haru Nanaka and her pet raven.
Kaka! Your mom was fucking stupid. Kaka!
Imagine if it was Raven. That'd be great. It does look pretty. The show looks quite pretty, and it seems like a nice, gentle slice of life type thing. It's entirely possible it could be a bit of a wank, as can happen with slice of life sometimes, but it could also be nice.
What studio's doing it?
It's Dogakobo.
Oh, they also did Nozaki-kun, though. Oh, these are the guys that do all these fucking moe anime.
Yeah, Himoto Umaru-chan, they did New Game, Gabriel Dropout.
Yeah, Koisuru Asteroid and stuff. Yeah, okay. So they're pretty solid.
Oh, shit. They did the Dumbbell Show.
Yeah, because I think that's from those same magazines.
Yeah, probably. This doesn't seem to be really in line with the stuff they apparently usually do.
Well, what do you want to watch it?
Well, I think I might. I have been warned by someone that in terms of the relationship in the show, there is a significant age gap, which...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll give this one a crack.
Yeah, because it is another seinen.
Yeah, well,
So it probably is closer to that vein than it might appear.
yeah. I guess we'll see. Although, yeah, it really doesn't look like the stuff they normally do.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
What else you got?
The other thing that is actually by the same studio that I'm also going to watch is Hokago Taibo Nishi, or Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater.
I'm looking at this picture. Is this fishing club moes?
First-year student Hina Tsurugi prefers to do indoor activities such as crafting. Having recently moved to a seaside town, she runs into an older schoolmate, Kuruiya, who invites her to join the Taibu Club and start fishing. Surrounded by eccentric club members, how will Hina's high school life turn out? This show really makes me feel like they're running out of clubs.
I mean, they've already done like airsoft shooting and stuff. You can find a moe club anime for fucking anything now.
What I like, though, when you look at the main image, is that, these are all moe girls. But one of them is like pulling a fish out of the water. That is a 100% realistic fish.
Yeah, that's such a typical anime thing.
How do these two things go together?
It's because they don't see fish as animals. They always have to be drawn realistically.
Really?
Yeah, like the Japanese word for animal actually like doesn't include fish. And I think a lot of times like mentally they're just seen as they're food that swims around. So there's actually like a TV tropes page for super realistic fish in anime that otherwise like everything else is not realistic.
That's interesting. I guess that makes sense from a cultural perspective.
Yeah, you gotta eat a lot of fucking fish.
Yeah, so it's better not to think of them as animals.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that. I reckon it'll be trash. I'm going to watch it.
Excellent.
All right, spinning around a different way again. I love the name of this show. The Millionaire Detective. Balance Unlimited.
Oh, fuck.
Daisuke Kanbei, a detective with extraordinary assets, is assigned to the Modern Crime Prevention Headquarters. Great name. Where only those who have caused problems for the Metropolitan Police Department are sent. There, Daisuke is partnered with Haru Kato. Haru is repulsed by Daisuke's material ways, believing that money isn't everything. Challenging mysteries unfold in front of the two detectives, and they must work together to solve them. So it's super rich detective with detective who is not rich and doesn't like it. And that's the show.
Oh shit, they're an odd couple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the images and it's like here's this guy who looks all like Bruce Wayne or whatever, and then there's like this casual boy.
You want to watch that?
What else? Oh, these guys have done some pretty big things.
Cloverworks?
I might get around to watching it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 other things that I'm definitely planning to watch.
Okay. There's another show called Listeners. This is a very short description. Set in a world where the concept of music has ceased to exist. The story begins when a boy encounters Miyu, a mysterious girl who possesses an audio input jack in her body. The two intermingle with the history of rock music and embark on an unforgettable journey. It's entirely possible this could be good.
No.
But the description to me raises a lot of red flags for weird, horny shit and just general wanking off about how good classic rock music is.
Oh, fucking wait, though. I'm looking at the poster for it, and it names Gene, who's a really good Vocaloid composer.
Oh.
So at least the music for it might be hot.
It's also made by Mappa. Oh, they did Zombieland Saga.
Yeah. And they did Dorohedoro last season.
Oh, there you go. It could look nice.
Well, it might still be some trash, yeah, but I might have to check it out anyway. I know the bad guys are called Earless, which is really funny.
I mean, they've done some other stuff that isn't as good.
Yeah, like the Dororo adaptation, which I did not like.
Grand Blue Fantasy, they did that.
It's my take on that.
There's definitely some trash in here.
I might watch that.
Okay. All right. Now, this is an interesting one in terms of a more adult-framed anime, but it's probably still trash. Wave Listen to Me.
There's a lot of listening stuff in this season.
Ears are really big right now. The stage is Sapporo, Hokkaido. One night, our heroine, Minare Koda, spills her heartbroken woes to a radio station worker she meets while out drinking one night. The next day, she hears a recording of her pitiful grumbling being played live over the air. Minare storms into the station in a rage, only to then be duped by the station director into doing an impromptu talk show explaining her harsh dialogue. With just one recording, the many eccentric facets of Minare's life begin to pull every which direction as she falls ever deeper into the world of radio. It's sort of intriguing. It could go a number of ways. There is something about falling into the world of radio that kind of funny.
Yeah, one of the posters for it has her on top of a bear yelling into a microphone. It seems pretty good.
I might watch this one.
Yeah, you watch this one.
Okay,
so one that I want to check out is Arte, or I don't know if you pronounce the E. Arte, which is Arte was born in an aristocratic family in Florence during the 16th century Renaissance era. Being female, it was unheard of for one to become an artist. Driven by her love of art, Arte is willing to cast aside her aristocratic lifestyle to become an artist. It seems like a very smooshy shoujo style show that's like based on a shoujo manga. And I'm seeing a lot of shoujo looking eyes. It looks very shoujo.
It does, yeah. It feels, the animation almost feels a bit dated in a way.
Yeah.
Like the images I'm seeing, yeah. Are you gonna watch that?
I wonder if that's just what the manga looks like. Yeah, I want to check it out, see if it's got some good feels, maybe some good, like art feels.
Art feels, good feels.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm definitely going to watch is Shin Sakura Taisen the animation, which is Sakura Wars.
Oh. Which
is something that I've always vaguely known of, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Okay, you're going to watch this. All right, good.
Yeah. Because, Sakura Wars is apparently, it's like a mix of, Takarazuka, it's like some kind of plays mixed with mecha that are like steampunkish, and they're all in kimonos, and I've never understood what the fuck it's about. So let's see if the anime helps me understand.
Yeah, because the description is very long, and I posted on the Discord a while back, and even people who knew a bit about Sakura Wars were like, I don't know what's going on. Even if you understand the basic premise of something about plays and also mecha, this anime's plot is still incomprehensible.
Oh, it's not directly from one of the games or something?
Not sure. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think this is the one that has the fucking Bleach guy for character designs, because you can always tell because he has that stupid line above the lip. Just don't draw that line, dude. It's dumb.
They should release a version where they get rid of that line. Someone just goes through and paints it out.
Fix it for the Blu-ray. Error, stupid line above lip. Please remove. But yeah, I have to watch that and see if it gives me any idea of what the fuck Sakura Wars deal is.
In terms of things that look a bit different, There's Olympia Kyklos.
Yeah, what is this mysterious image?
Yeah, have a quick Google of the poster for this because it does look a bit different. Demetrios, a timid and kind vase painter in ancient Greece who dislikes sports and competitions, is one day forced to come up with a game to compete with the mayor of the neighbouring town in order to save his village. While hiding inside a large vase outside his workshop, lightning strikes the vase Demetrios is in, transferring him to Tokyo, Japan during the 1964 Summer Olympics.
Okay. Okay.
I love it.
This doesn't list a studio that's making it.
Yeah, which is
very mysterious.
Yeah, I like how it's slice of life is one of the tags. Really?
Oh, it's 5 minutes per episode, so it's like one of those short anime things.
Well, this is going to end up being an ad for something.
Go to Greece.
Was this going to be an ad for the 2020 Olympics?
Oh no.
I'll have a look. I was the one who was dumb enough to watch an ad last time. I'll just do it again.
Yeah.
I can be ad boy.
The only other thing that kind of stood out to me that I might check out is Appare Ranman, which is during the back end of the 19th century, the genius but socially awkward engineer Serrano Appare and the wise yet cowardly samurai Ishiki Kosame find themselves drifting in the sea between Japan and America. With no money, the duo decide to enter the Transamerica Wild Race to win the prize money so that they can get home. The two encounter rivals, bandits, and challenges in the wilderness as they race through America, from Los Angeles to the finish line in New York in steam-powered cars that they built. So it looks like a very madcap, ridiculous kind of show. I'm seeing some weird racial stereotype characters. I don't know how bad they are, but it looks pretty ridiculous.
I mean, the premise isn't bad.
Yeah, it's a fun, silly premise.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
In terms of really sus premises, troublesome old man Komata Ji-san. The comedy centers around an old man who pulls stereotypical Eichmann, or handsome man, actions on similarly old women and makes their hearts flutter. Now, this could be quite cute, or it could be incredibly fucking leery.
It sounds stupid. Wait, what's it? I'm having trouble finding these things that you're finding.
Komata Ji-san is the Japanese name.
Oh, here it is.
It's like it's an old man who goes around seducing old women.
I see.
As a comedy. There's an outside chance it could be cute. There's an outside chance it could be incredibly leery. There is a decent chance it's just going to be not very funny.
This looks like it's one of those things that you can't find any fucking information on, so it's probably just some random little thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's short episodes.
Yeah, probably. That's kind of most of what caught my eye, at least. Oh, there's also Gal to Kayuru.
Oh, a Gyaru.
Gyaru.
Oh, this, yeah.
One day, Kaede, a Gyaru, picks up a dinosaur and begins living with it. The short comedy depicts their daily lives together as the dinosaur consumes human food, watches TV, and enjoys fashionable things.
Oh my god, this dinosaur looks so funny.
What I love this last line of the description, though. Thus begins the story of a gal and a dinosaur cohabitating that transcends time. the timeless tale.
He looks like the fucking Cookie Monster.
Yeah, he does. Whereas she doesn't. Like, she's much more fully rendered.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll watch that.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird, stupid bullshit. There we go. I'll check out all of the short nonsense and tell you if any of it's worth watching.
Yeah, like even though I said there doesn't look like much that's going to be good, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things on my list to fucking check out. Oh no, gotta watch all the anime.
We have been surprised before. I mean, you went into Demon Girl Next Door thinking it was going to be pretty rubbish.
No, yeah, there could always be something.
Yeah.
But that's why you gotta dive in, you gotta see.
Or you wait till we've watched a few and we can help separate them out for you.
Trust us. Listen to us.
All right, that's everything we needed to cover. So yeah, the point is, tell us if you'd like us to watch any of those shows in particular.
And you go watch Madoka, goddammit.
Go watch Madoka. It's important.
This has been our propaganda for the week.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.